Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to part 4 of my sub setup series. This series is all about showcasing your setups, and this time round it's come down from Dot.cfg, and the car in question this time round is the Camaro SS. Now, as always with this series, this car has absolutely nothing to do with me. The build has been completely designed by Dot.cfg. He sent over some pictures to me, I've replicated it then on my system, and I've been playing around with the car ever since. I'm sure most of you have used this car for drifting at one stage or another. It is well known within the community as a very easy and very usable drift car. And with that in mind, I have played around with this car myself a lot. I've come up with my own builds for it. And likewise, I've actually been on various lobbies with people and tried out their setups for this car. It's very, very popular, and it is all down to its ease of use. Every single one of those setups has been very different from one another, and in fact the guy that kicked off this series with the first build, which was Cade Slatham, I've played around with his version of the Camaro SS build, and again it's really enjoyable to use. He uses it on a very soft setting. It actually feels quite floppy to drive, but with that it works really well. But having said that, this build that Dot.cfg has actually sent down to me is very different again. It's much firmer. And again, I have to say, every single one of these builds has been great so far, and this one is no different at all. Normally now, at this point in the video, I would be asking you to send down your setups to me, but at the moment, I'm not going to ask for that. I have actually had a really good response to this. I've still got another 7 to work my way through, and at the current rate that I'm doing them, it's going to take me a little while to get through them. So for now, don't worry about sending anything in. However, as I get a little bit closer to clearing them, obviously I will give you the details again, and it would be great to hear from you. But I'm having a lot of fun making these videos. In fact, they're probably the most fun videos that I make, but at the same time they are very time consuming, because I do like to get to know your builds as much as possible before I then go on to do the challenge. And just before we do go over to that challenge and see just how well Dot.cfg's build does against the other cars on the table, I would just like to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you to all of you. It's been a year since I started the channel, and it's been up and down, to be honest. To start with, it was very slow, but certainly with builds like the AE86 a couple of weeks back, I've seen a huge spike in subscribers, and it's your feedback and your comments that really do help me and make me want to continue to make videos. So again, a massive thank you to all of you. But that's enough of me chatting. It's time that we actually get on with this video, and let's see just how well this car does. Now, the challenge, as always, is the Dragon Trail Drift Trial, and the aim of this is to get as many points as possible in a single run. But I have 5 minutes to complete this challenge, so I could do as many runs as possible within that 5 minutes, and the highest score will be recorded, and that's what goes onto the leaderboard. And as I've said in every single video within this series so far, and I will say it again, this probably isn't the best test for these cars. It is just me messing around with them. I have taken a lot of time to get to know the car before I do this run. And it's the most accurate way that I can record this. But at the same time, obviously, Dot.cfg probably knows this car a lot better than me. So apologies if I'm not getting the kind of points you normally get. But this seems like the fairest way that I can test it. So what you are now seeing is that best run that I got within that 5-minute time period using Dot.cfg's car. I have to say that I actually got this particular run about 4 or 5 runs in and didn't better it within that 5 minutes. Like I said before, this is an incredibly easy car to get along with, but it needed to be. We've got some really impressive scores on the board, and I was interested to see whether this was going to be good enough to actually beat them. But there you have it. I needn't have worried. This thing absolutely smashed it out of the park. 10,661 points. Straight into the #1 spot on the leaderboard there. That is an unbelievable score, and it's not something that I'd ever achieved even with any of my builds when I was playing around with this. I'm starting to get a little bit concerned, if I'm honest, that maybe we've peaked a little bit too early with some of these builds. The points that are coming out of here are just incredible, and they're, like I said a minute ago, they're the kind of points that I've never received even with cars that I've used before. So yeah, every time I open one of your builds, I'm just so impressed with them at the moment, and I really look forward to making the next video. But right now, a huge congratulations to Dot.cfg. You have done an amazing job. I've absolutely loved using this car, and what we'll do now is I'll take you over to the setup that he sent over. So if you want to give it a go yourselves, please do. So let's go and take a look now. So with Dot.cfg's build here, there's no real major surprises, but everything really works very well together. To start with, we've got power level there set to level 3, and he's taken it all the way to 139%, which gives you 631 brake horsepower. Weight reduction wise, just the original level 1 there, so no need for any mileage points. Drop it to the bottom at 97%, which is going to still leave you 1,621 kilograms. Traction control is set to 0. Comfort hard tyres, both front and rear. The brake balance is set to 0. Now the ride height has been dropped all the way to the bottom there, so 100 and 100. The natural frequency on the front is set to 1.68 and on the rear is 1.67. Anti-roll bar on the front there is 7 and on the rear is 4. The compression and rebound are exactly the same there at 60-60 and 90-90. Camber angle on the front is set to 1.5 and on the rear is 1.4. Toe angle on the front there is set out at 0.3 and in 0.3 on the rear. The differential is set to fully customised, and you've got 10, 40 and 20. And transmission wise there, it's set to the fully customised non-synchronous, and it's 174 as the max speed, and the gearing is as follows. What I'll do is I'll leave this page up for a minute or two so you can copy those numbers over. Equally, if you need to pause it at this point, please do. Again, please use the comment section down below to let Dot.cfg know your thoughts on the build, or just to congratulate him on his score, because again, it was absolutely fantastic. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I've got content like this coming out all the time. Also, give the video a like if you've enjoyed it. It really helps the channel grow when you do that, and also it makes me very happy. I'm going to go away and start recording the next one of these because I'm really enjoying them at the moment, and I'll see you all on the next one.